We use different types of plants or herbs, primarily roots, and we'd mix them, or we either smoked it or utilized it as a tea, and or make it into a powder to use on our food for medicines.
We teach our children when the first snow comes, we put any tobacco out and we pray and we thank the Creator for the moisture and the water that He brought over here for us, and because it's going to help our corn grow and our squash and our beans and all of the gardens that we plant and crops that we plant in the springtime.
Tobacco is used for offerings in different ceremonies and situations, and you use it for offerings to other people, or for your ancestors that have passed on, or for safe journeys.
I remember my aunt, she always used to tell us, if you're traveling, put some tobacco on the front of your car, put some tobacco in the back of your car, you will be safe.
And when we pick medicines and we go on a trip, we put it down and we pray.
It doesn't matter the quantity, it only matters that you put it on there.
Well, there's different definitions of the word tobacco. I mean, today when we think about tobacco, we instantly think about Marlboro, Copenhagen, things like that.
Our tribe, as far back as I can remember, has have always used real tobacco. Our name for that is Ninsama, which is meant to be used for different types of ceremonies.
Before tobacco, and this goes to one of our creation stories about how the pipe came about through the white buffalo calf woman, and in that, when she brought the pipe to the Lakota people, she brought 7 ceremonies. She also brought what she called chinchisha, what we call chinchisha, which is the inner bark of the red willow. And that bark is actually scraped off, and it kind of peels off as it's scraped off, and it's dried, and we smoked that before we actually had tobacco.
To me, it is a plant that was put here for the Native American people, or non-Native American people, to use as communication.
It's a gift and it's an honor, and so that honor you try in every way to respect and to fulfill the request, whatever that may be, whether it's to serve as head man dancer, or whether it's to conduct a particular event, or whether it's to serve as the master of ceremonies, whatever it may be. You try to fulfill those requests, especially if tobacco was a part of that conversation.
In ceremonies, it's smoked in a pipe or in a corn shuck.
It's used in ties, tobacco ties. It's used in what we call flags that we put inside the lodge. Tobacco can be used in the fire when we're building a sacred fire, so there's always some ceremonial meanings behind it.
For me, as an individual, as an indigenous man, it's about living that ceremony on a daily basis and utilizing the tools.
The significance of the tobacco is that we pray with it. We smoke it. When you breathe in that smoke, that represents Wakanda's breath. Wakanda, that's how we say God in the Omaha language.
When we're saying our own personal prayers, when we're saying a prayer in public, we always put it in our left hand because it's closer to our heart.
1 grain of tobacco for Lakota people, and I'm going to assume most tribes, 1 grain can physically manifest all the prayers you have in your heart.
This is something that's used while you're praying. It's used something to purify yourself. It's used to purify others. So if you're constantly using it every day, how can you consistently say you're doing it every day for a pure purpose?
And I was always taught growing up, when we use tobacco traditionally, we always keep that tobacco separate from any other tobacco that we use.
Everything is about preparation. Even down to like the meals. If an individual has love and compassion in their hearts and they prepare a meal, that's what's going within the individuals that eat the meal. It's the same thing with the tobacco. When we make an offering, how was this prepared?
Was it meant to be used as pleasure, like a normal pack of cigarettes? I had used tobacco all of my life, and I never did abuse it, and I didn't ever use it to do anything harmful.
Today they get carried away with tobacco, and they give you tobacco for every reason there is, but to my understanding, this tobacco is supposed to be used for your prayers.
I think we probably have an inordinately high amount of people that smoke, men and women, and that's not a good thing.
It's so hard and so difficult for people to find the time to go out and collect the necessary tobacco for a particular ceremony. It's easy to just swing into a gas station and pick up some tobacco.
People need to start going back to the traditional way of going out and picking the tobacco. However each tribe does it, they need to start doing that. They need to start using that.
We're so confined into these smaller areas that it makes it nearly impossible to prepare and do things the correct and the right way.
And a lot of people today use this kind of tobacco today because a lot of people don't really know what traditional tobacco is.
I think a lot of our younger people, because of the smoking, a high level of smoking that goes on amongst our youth, I would say that they probably have a lot less knowledge about the uses of tobacco from a ceremonial sense.
As an elder in a community, I believe that it's my responsibility to tell people, whenever we abuse anything, it comes back on us.
And that's why we have these diseases that are caused by smoking cigarettes, our cancers and emphysema and all the lung diseases that are caused, and whatever else is caused by that poison that is in that tobacco. It comes back on if it's not used in the right way.
Cancer is one of the leading causes of death in Native American communities, but at the same time, it's also one of the #1 financial resources of tribal communities. So it's difficult to walk that fine line, but I think for the most part, if you empower yourself and you educate yourself, and you take the dynamics of politics out of everything and take it upon yourself personally, you're able to separate the two.
Traditional people in the tribe would view tobacco from a traditional sense as something to be always respected.
I think that that's how it should be, and I think that's how it used to be, and just people getting together and helping each other.
If people are not careful, then they could disrespect tribes. They can disrespect other human beings and their means of prayer.
We hold traditional tobacco very high. We use it every day. We offer tobacco to help us survive. The Native American people have survived here in the 48 states for many years, and we're still here today by the use of tobacco.